Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be discussing my thoughts on the Destiny 2 Lightfall showcase reveal, and just as I share my thoughts on the reveal in this video, be sure to leave your thoughts on Lightfall in the comment section down below. Now, releasing on February 28th of next year, Lightfall is the next major expansion coming to Destiny 2, and Lightfall will take place primarily on a new destination called Neo-Numa, which is located on Neptune. The Witness, along with Calus and his new Shadow Legion, are invading Neo-Numa for some unknown reason right now, and Neo-Numa is a city that's somehow gone under the radar for most of us, where a different sect of humanity has been developing and growing alongside us ever since the collapse. The city seems pretty vast based on the trailer, showing that Neo-Numa is not some small rundown city, but a much more fleshed out, full-blown civilization. And who lives in the city besides humans? Cloud Strikers. Much like Guardians, yet not chosen by the Traveler, Cloud Strikers protect Neo-Numa from, I'm guessing, the darkness, but I'm not quite sure whether they are the enemies to us or if they will be allies to us. Maybe a little bit of both. So like I said, the city is under attack by both the Witness and Calus with his Shadow Legion, fighting Cabal once again, I know, but it seems like they actually have some new powers and a few new enemy types amongst them. One of them being called the Tormentor, which is supposedly a new mini-boss. The legendary campaign from the Witch Queen is also returning in Lightfall, no surprise there. The legendary campaign was definitely a hit amongst the community in Witch Queen, so seeing its return was expected, but obviously a welcome one. Strand is a new superclass we'll be wielding in Lightfall, which is finally the green darkness super we've all been waiting to see. Every time there's been speculation about a new darkness subclass, it's the color green, usually related to poison, like the thorn or something like that. And I don't know if it has any poison capabilities yet, but we finally have a green darkness subclass. We finally got it, I guess. And Strand is looking to be heavily based around movement. The grapple hook is the highlight here in that regard, allowing us to swing around the city like Spider-Man without any need to really stick the grapple onto objects in order to swing with it. And I'm not sure if there will be a large cooldown with this thing yet or not, but it would be awesome if it didn't have a cooldown. The abilities in the supers are focused on pulling energy through alternate dimensions. Titan's super will be a whirlwind dagger AoE attack that does look pretty deadly. Warlocks will launch numerous threads of energy that explode on impact, kind of like a blade barrage in my opinion, is what it kind of looks like to me. And hunters get a rope dart, which I can't quite tell what it does beyond the obvious of rope darting enemies. And so far that's all we really know about Strand. Of course we'll learn more in the future. But now let's move on to some other quality of life features coming with Lightfall. First up is in-game LFG, or looking for group, and this is something that's been long requested ever since Destiny 1, is to have some sort of in-game LFG feature at the tower or somewhere else. Ridding the need for third-party websites or Bungie's app, an in-game LFG feature is a much welcome addition to the game, even if it is 8 years late. Next is the Guardian ranks, which will be likely aimed towards new players. Guardian ranks are meant to familiarize players with all the different systems and activities in the game by showing you kind of your progress amongst everything that's in the game. It's very similar to the Triumphs in how it's presented, just a little bit more condensed for the sake of learning the game. And finally, the in-game loadouts and mod manager. Another massive improvement to the game that again negates the need for third-party apps in order to save build setups on your characters. This one is pretty self-explanatory. The ability to select individual loadouts and builds in the game is huge, and it will save a lot of time for players, especially those who don't bother with third-party websites. Another noteworthy piece of information is Bungie announced they will no longer be sunsetting any more expansion content going forward. This is obviously great news for players in way of respecting their purchases and also keeping more important content in the game, which helps maintain a healthy amount of things to do all around. It's definitely good news, however it still is unfortunate that all of the year one content and DLCs are no longer available for us, and same with the Forsaken campaign. I do hope that sometime in the future that content will be returned to us in one way or another, but now let's move on to my overall thoughts on Lightfall. The setting, Neo-Numa, was something I did not expect at all for Destiny, and not something I'm convinced fits Destiny's universe quite yet, but there is no denying that it looks really cool. Obviously a very synthwave, Blade Runner, cyberpunk inspired aesthetic, which is something I can't be disappointed with as I love that style. and it should be a lot of fun to explore this city at the very least. Narratively, I'm not sure what Neonuma has to offer or what purpose it serves for the story quite yet, but I'm sure we'll learn soon enough. Calus being a tool for the Witness has me really excited, as I've really been loving Calus's story, especially what we learned during Season of the Haunted. No concerns really from a story point of view. Strand subclasses look interesting and like a fun distraction. It's hard to say much about them right now though, because we know so little. I will say that if it is anything like Stasis, I imagine it will have a brief heyday and then kind of just wane in popularity, but again, it's probably too early to say. All I know for sure is that I'm more than excited to swing through the city like Spider-Man. I mean, that just looks like so much fun. As for the quality of life improvements, I really like them all. In-game loadouts are great. In-game LFG, also great. Guardian ranks, fine with me. The price of Lightfall is something that I want to bring up briefly. It is by far the most expensive expansion to date, and I feel like I say that every single year that the game goes on, but I mean, Witch Queen Deluxe was $80, which is already a pretty tough sell in my opinion. But Lightfall Deluxe is $100 for likely a similar amount of content and assumedly similar follow-up seasons. And I think at this point, it's very clear that Bungie is just looking for any way to squeeze those extra few dollars each year for their content. I mean, look at this year with how they sold Dungeons separately for $20. And Solstice even has its own mini battle pass within the event itself. I definitely think it's a bit ridiculous that the prices are what they are and they keep going up. But at this point, it's something we've come to expect from Bungie. You know, their monetization practices definitely outpace the levels of EA or Activision, and I'm just waiting to hear other people finally admit that. Lastly, my concern around Lightfall isn't with the expansion or the content itself, but rather what happens after the new content is done. My question is, will the same old power grind still exist as it does now? Will the gameplay loop after the campaign and the few new quest lines just kind of be bounty farming and running the core activity playlist again? Or will there be a more core change to how things will be done in the game going forward from Lightfall? Because expansions are great, they're very fun to play through, but the day-to-day or week-to-week gameplay is definitely a little bit monotonous still. All I really want to know is, will there be any change in that regard? Besides the price, that's really my only concern regarding Lightfall, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more Destiny content and like the video if you enjoyed. I will see you all in the next one.